Everyone. George is with our insurance broker, and he's going to be going over our benefits packages, and he's going to summarize some of the benefits that are being offered going forward during this open enrollment time. And there'll be some chances for you all to ask some questions regarding the plans or any doubts or concerns you may have regarding any of the plans or anything. George will be here to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Good afternoon, everybody. So we're going to go over, I'm going to share my screen so that we can go over our benefits. Let me get to the right place here. Sorry, we had just finished up another meeting in Spanish. So we're going to go over the benefits now. We're going to go over the dental, the vision, the disability. Then we're going to go over very briefly on how to be able to enroll in the plan. And I will show all of that to you in just a few minutes. Let me first of all talk about the benefits and how they work and see if you have any questions here. So we're Financial Designs. Here's my contact information. We are a fully bilingual organization. We have a claims concierge team that we encourage everyone to use. Here's our team right here. We also have a website, which is fdnational.com, where there is a portal where you can drop in any bills that haven't been covered correctly or you have questions on, and we can assist you with those bills. And if I tell you it's going to cost you $100 and the bill's $375, we're going to know what your insurance is, your gap insurance. We're going to go ahead and try to take care of that. If we have any questions, we'll reach out to you. But if not, we'll let you know, hey, that bill was taken care of and you only owe $50 as opposed to the error they made. So if that happened throughout this year and it's been less than 12 months and say you paid for a emergency room copay and you weren't supposed to, let us know and we can work that gap, even if it already happened, as long as it hasn't been longer than a year. And we talked about this last year, so I think we should be fine. If you guys have worked with us and had any positive experiences and would love to help us by doing a Google review, we encourage everybody to do that, obviously. Just so you know, we have, almost 250, so we're trying to get there, so help us if you can. Here is if you do not want to use the website, and you want to just go ahead and email us, we have a claims inbox where you snap the picture from your phone, you send it to us. We're already going to know what company you're from because your logo will probably be on there, and then we'll be able to do that, or you can call us, okay? So email the actual website or a phone call. But we want not just to renew your plan, but to make sure that we're here to support you all year long. So we're going to go over now the Aetna plan design, and it's being offered with two different gap insurance plans. The reason why is because we have a deductible of $5,000. So we have a gap that covers the whole $5,000 deductible, making the deductible zero, which is a great thing. And then we have a second one that's $7,500. And the reason why this one is higher is because after the $5,000 deductible, there's still a 20%, what they call coinsurance, which we can call it a deductible as well, until you get to $7,500. After that, Aetna covers 100% thereafter. So I don't need any higher than $7,500. I think the majority of the people will be fine with the $5,000 deductible. But if, for example, somebody's pregnant and going to be giving birth 3 months from now, then you might want to get the $7,500 so that you're sure that there is no liability. If I get the $5,000 gap with the Aetna health plan that we have, my maximum responsibility will be $2,500. After that, Aetna covers 100%. And how do I get that number? Simply my out-of-pocket of $7,500 minus the gap of $5,000 is $2,500. Okay. So I'm gonna go over line by line, see if you have any questions, but I just wanted to give you like a overview of how that works. And then I'm gonna stop and see if you guys have any questions and hopefully try to clarify anything that's not crystal clear. So open access plan, no referrals needed. Primary is 40, specialist is $80. We know that that's a tad higher, but we do have now under virtual visits, which I'm going to show you at the end of the presentation. If you use the CVS instead of the Teladoc under your Aetna app that we're going to want everybody to download, there's zero copay. So virtual visits will be a zero copay. Also, the minute clinics, if you go to the CVS ones where you see a nurse practitioner, CVS owns Aetna, so it's also a zero copay. If I go to another minute clinic, then it's the $40 copayment. Okay. So basically, if I go to an office visit, I got to pay the 40 or the 80. And if, let's say I go to dermatologist office and there's an office surgery that applies towards the deductible and isn't covered under my regular copay, that the gap will cover. So if I go to a derm and I get another $200 bill because they say, hey, that biopsy wasn't covered with your $80 copayment. I'm sorry, I'm choking here for some reason. Okay, better. So where was I? I was in the lab. No, I was talking about the biopsy. So if I have a biopsy and it's another $100, the gap will cover office surgeries or extracurricular stuff that isn't normally covered under the copays. Okay. If I go to urgent care tomorrow, I have a $75 copayment. The gap fully covers it. It should be zero to me. Emergency room, deductible applies. That's terrible. We know that if you have the $5,000 gap that I'm recommending, as long as you don't go to the emergency room every other week, you're going to be fine because a contracted rate for emergency room is roughly $3,000. Okay. We know we don't ever want to go to emergency room first shot anyway, because if it's not truly an emergency, we're going to be waiting there forever, number one. And number two, it's very expensive to go to an emergency room for something that's not necessarily an emergency room. That's what the urgent cares are for. So I strongly encourage everybody to try to use our benefits as efficiently as possible and keep our rate increases low so that we don't have higher deductions in the future. Use the virtual visits first, minute clinic second, urgent care third, and emergency room fourth in that order, because obviously the virtual visits are a lot cheaper than the emergency room is, and everything in between. So if tomorrow I go and I get lab work done or I need x-rays, the deductible applies, the gap fully covers it, so you're not going to have to pay for that, for the lab work or the x-rays. MRIs and CAT scans, the same thing, outpatient and inpatient hospital, identical. So you'll see that in every one of these sections where this $5,000 applies, the gap is there to save you, okay? And then if you get to 7,500, then it covers the 5,000 and the 7,500. And as you can see here, the gap, if you have the 7,500, you have basically zero exposure if you get hospitalized, since it covers everything. So the easy way to remember this, I think, is the gap doesn't cover office copays or prescription drug copays. Everywhere else, we should show the gap card. Okay, so any questions on the one medical plan and the two corresponding gaps that are designed to complement this plan to reduce your out-of-pocket?
So I have a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry. If my daughter has her, hold on, I'm sorry, because I'm echoing.
Yeah, I think you might be on a phone and
No, it was my partner next to me. Okay, so if I have my daughter. I'm sorry?
Still echoing.
Yeah, because you're off mute. Mute yourself all the way in the bottom on the lower left.
You're good now. We can hear you perfectly now.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about it.
Okay, so if my daughter has insurance through my husband, but I want to get the gap for her through us, will she be able to use it?
Okay, so the answer is no. You're supposed to use the gap with the corresponding plan that we have. Now, we do have some employees who have ignored that rule and done what you just suggested right now, and the gap has covered it. But if it ever doesn't cover it and you decide to elect that, I don't want to be on the hook for it. So I just gave you the answer and what's really happening in the real world. But if you call the Gap company and say, hey, I'm going to buy Gap for my spouse who has insurance with his employer and he's not under your Aetna plan, they're supposed to say no. But I have seen that that has not happened. So forgive me for giving you a double-sided answer. I just wanted to be transparent about it.
So basically I'll be running a risk if I get it and she doesn't get covered.
Yeah, but if you get it and it doesn't work, we can always cancel it. So, you know,
Okay. Okay.
so it's not the end of the world, I don't think, you know?
Okay. And this, and the 5,000 and the 7,500 is per person in the plan?
Yes, great point. Actually, Sandra asked me about that, or somebody asked me about that in the other meeting. Yeah, the reason why you see one gap, and you're gonna see in the following page, notice how the gaps are higher, right? If you include more people, because I gotta have either 5,000 for each person because everybody has their own deductible.
Okay.
All right.
Okay,
So
perfect.
thank you for bringing that up because I forgot to mention it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and by the way, these are your deductions since we happen to be here. And all of these are before tax deductions. They are covering 75% of the medical insurance as well as the $5,000 gap. So we have many employers. We represent over 600 companies, and a lot of them do just 50%. So 75% is definitely one of the better ones. And then if you wanted to upgrade to the 7,500, then you'll see that they cover 75% of this, but you just have to pay the difference. As I said, you know, unless I have a planned hospitalization, you know, I think that the 7,500 is a little bit overkill because there should always be at least a little bit of a deductible. At least that's the way most plans work. So, and so all this is before taxes. So if I get an $80 deduction, my check comes down by like 65 bucks. The other $15 are tax savings. Okay. Any other questions? So I can go to the dental and the vision, which you guys probably know more about it than I do. Okay, so same two dental plans we had last year. We have one that is a little bit more expensive because it covers adult ortho instead of just child ortho. It throws endodontics and surgeries into 80% instead of 50%. And both plans are unlimited. Okay, so that's a good thing. And the more expensive plan also covers implants and has the missing tooth clause, because I was asked that in the prior meeting. I had to verify it. So now I am absolutely sure that even if a tooth isn't there, they will still cover the implant. Most dental companies do not do that, by the way. So the plans are pretty similar in the preventive side, where it's 100% coverage, 80% for basic services like the fillings. And then the major services are all 50%, like you see here. Except for these two upgrades that we already mentioned. So if anybody, you know, wants to understand why this one's more money, I just summarize all of those three reasons, okay? So vision plan also stays identical. These, by the way, dental and vision are with United. Medical is with Aetna. We did not change the dental and vision to Aetna because their product was inferior and we wanted you to have an unlimited dental plan. Aetna did not provide that. Vision plan, $10. So I would keep the UHC app. So if you ever need something from your dental and vision, including your providers, they'll all be there on that app. I would also want you to download the Aetna app for Aetna medical providers. Aetna and United, in my opinion, are the two best networks medically. So I don't think you're going to have any issues missing any doctors there. And they're both national, which is awesome. So going back to the vision, $10 eye exam, and that is from the date of the last exam. So if I did mine in June of last year, I can't go until June of this year. I paid $25 for the glass that goes inside the frame. That's a $25 copayment. Does not include the progressives. Those are always going to be more. The frames, you get a $130 allowance, and it works well if you go in network because they give you about a 40% discount on the frame. But if you go out of network and you don't get the discount, then the 130 doesn't go as far. So please stay in network. And these are the deductions for the dental PPO one. We'll call this one the implant one, I guess, $10. And then vision over here. And then here we have the dental provider link and the vision provider links. And all of that stuff is also on the app on your phone. Okay? Any questions on the dental or the vision before I move on? All right, great. So we also have $10,000 of life insurance fully paid by the company and long-term disability insurance. I can tell you less than 10% of our 600 clients offers long-term disability paid by the employer to their employees. So an excellent benefit to have. It has a 90-day waiting period. It'll cover you 60%. And the amount of maximum is $10,000. We also have additional life insurance that you can buy, and that life insurance could be as high as $150,000 and be guaranteed issue. So if somebody has a health issue that prevents them from getting it, I would definitely encourage them to get the additional life insurance here. And then there's a short-term disability. It's a voluntary plan that if you want short-term to cover the 90 days before the long-term kicks in, then you have the option of getting that at a premium or a deduction from your check. So any questions on the life and or disability? All right. So we have the Aetna Health app that we would love everybody to get. Sandra says she already emailed everybody your portal or platform link so that you can make your elections. Guys, I please need you to make those elections as soon as possible. We're moving from one carrier to the other. Already, we're not going to have the ID cards by the 1st, even though our effective date will be by the 1st. And we could probably get temporary ID cards for anybody who's having an urgency. But please, as soon as we get it, and we have everybody together, so if 3 people don't send it, I can't just submit a piece of the group. So please help me in expediting getting me those elections. Teladoc is one of the virtual visit providers that we talked about. PeerFit is actually a gym membership program that gives you credits and discounts for some of the higher end gyms like Orange Theory. Here's the website, and it'll also be in the app. There is an employee assistance program that is included with Aetna, and they have a $100 over-the-counter benefit for buying CVS brands in the app as well. And it's basically $25 a quarter, for cough syrups and stuff like that. So definitely would want you to take advantage of that. Let me go here and see if I can get back into my elections. If not, I'm going to call Dara so that she can, here, let me see, make a change. Here we go. All right, great. Okay, so personal information. I have my personal information here. I need to make sure we're getting new ID cards from Aetna. Please make sure your address is correct. We have populated everything for you, but somebody might have moved. Was
George,
there a question?
There's a few questions on the chat.
Okay, I am
the first
so
one
sorry. You're
is-
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, so UHC will term at the end of February, and this will be March 1st. Can I get a copy of this PowerPoint? It will be in the documents section of your platform. I'll show you where that is now when I get through the steps to make sure I don't lock myself out of the steps and get nervous here in front of you all. And I have a question. If I'm already signed up for the open enrollment for the ease benefits last month, do I sign up for these ones too? Yes. If you're a new employee and you signed up last month, you still unfortunately have to do open enrollment again. We have to do this once a year. 10-year employees have to do that. But yeah, it's kind of weird when you just did it last month. My apologies. But yes, please do it because we're moving and I won't know what Aetna plan or what gap to put you on. Okay, Sandra, is there anything else? No? Okay. I'm gonna keep going, so save and continue. If I want to add dependents, this came up too with Sandra and I. Aetna limits age 26, which is the federal maximum for dependents under the medical. On the dental and vision side, United in the state of Florida allows you to go up to age 30. So in my case, if I wanted to add two of my three kids here, I got one that already turned 30, unfortunately. Then I can go ahead and add them to the dental and the vision if they're under the age of 30, but if they're over the age of 26, cannot add them to the medical, okay? So in this case, I have a 29 and a 23-year-old, so I'd be able to put on the boy, but not the girl. So, and then save and continue. So medical insurance, I got the basic plan for myself. It's already selected. I chose the $5,000 gap insurance. It's already selected. Like I said, I think that's good for most people. Just so you know, like I had an Achilles reattachment. It was like $4,000 once I got all the contracted discounts. Even if it would have been $6,000, I would have gotten $5,000 from Aetna. Aetna would have paid 80% of the other $1,000. I would have been out $200. I still would have been able to live with that as long as I don't have to pay $22 and I pay the $850. Just so you know, I'm trying to save you money, not upsell you. Dental 26 and 34. I picked the regular plan. This would be the implant one. I should have put implants here in parentheses. Okay, vision plan. Okay, so I can choose the vision plan for all of us, even though I don't want the medical for all of us. So we have that flexibility, which is good. Group life. I know I got $10,000. It's going to ask me for my beneficiaries. I happen to put these 50-50. I could have put just one person to say I have a spouse. I could have put her 100%. And then my two kids as secondary 50-50. Contingent beneficiaries also means secondary beneficiaries if the primary isn't available, unfortunately, okay? So continue. Long-term disability, of course, it's selected because they're paying it for all of you guys, which is great. Voluntary life, I can get up to $150,000 guaranteed issue. So if I have a health issue and I can't qualify regular, I definitely want to take advantage of this. And if anybody wants 50,000, 100,000, you can get up to 500,000, but then you have to fill out evidence of insurability form. So that does take about 2-3 weeks to approve to make sure that they want to offer you that additional coverage. Short-term disability. This is the one you can get on a voluntary basis to cover you the 90 days prior to the long-term disability that they're already covering you. I declined this one. I want to do everything paperless, so I hit continue. I check out that I chose my medical, my gap, my dental, my vision, a little summary here. That's going to be the deduction from my paycheck. All of this is before taxes. So $150, 20%, it's really going to go down by $120. The other $30 are tax savings. And I am pretty much done. Any questions?
There's a few on the chat.
Oh, great. Thank you. Once again, I'm terrible with the chat. Can you guys tell? I get into the presentation. My apologies. Will a new employee that has to wait 90 days, will they be able to enroll? No, unless you want to make open enrollment available to everybody. Typically, new enrollments should wait their waiting period to make sure that they're going to stay. And then we enroll. That way we're not enrolling and disenrolling people constantly. If we already completed the enrollment, can we go back and change? And the answer is yes, you can change it. I just went in and changed mine because I had done this earlier. And I'm going to go home here. Somebody had asked me earlier about the brochure.
Just to be clear, George, on that question that you just answered, they all have 5 days to make changes from today's date. It says it on their homepage.
I'm sorry, Sandra, is it 5 working days or just 5 days?
5 days.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. I'm having trouble finding my HR document. Hold on a second. I'm finding the brochure. And we just added all these new Aetna resources because Sandra told me to. Thank you, Sandra, for that, because now I can't find what I need. Okay.
I think it's on the
Employee
left,
assistance.
on the
I think
upper-
I'm getting
on the upper left.
upper left. No, do you mean
No,
here?
go scroll up, up, right there on the left. Right, no, HR documents, you said, right?
No,
Up,
it should
right there.
be a plan document. Let me just see.
Oh,
Okay. Hold 1 second. I will have Dara come in here and tell me where it is because she's just changed this. Because Aetna had just changed their gym benefits, so we had to update that. Dara, I can't find the brochure. Can you come in here, please? Thank you. And there is one more question on the chat that, oh, we already answered that. 5 calendar days or business days, and we said it was calendar days. Can you find the brochure since I can't? I'm finding everything but that. Oh, I had hit it. Okay. And why don't you show them where they can see the brochure while they're doing the enrollment?
Oh.
So go home,
You're gonna click on make a change.
make a change. I found it by myself, by the way.
Yeah,
You'd be very proud of it. Okay, so now it should be here.
yeah, you remove that, it's right down.
Okay, so do you guys see this? If you guys have any questions, you can email us here. Here's our phone, and here's the benefit handbook once again. Okay? Okay, any other questions? Thank you, Dara. I was panicking.
What was the benefit for the gym memberships again?
So they have these credits and they have like the higher end gyms like Orange Theory. And basically the more credits you have, the cheaper it is so that you can go to different ones. Here, let me go there. And forgive me for not being an expert on it. I just found out about it earlier today. But here's the website, purefit.com. And there's a pamphlet that I can send, but if you go on this website right here, it should be able to tell us everything that we need to know. And here's where you create an account and you're already with Aetna. So I don't know if you need your ID number in order to do that. So we might need to wait until after I give you that. But here it will tell you everything on what, I know Orange Theory is one of them. I don't know if CrossFit or any of those, but basically you're going to pay less than you normally would pay for those more expensive gyms. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions? No? Sandra, is there anything else you'd like me to add?
Not that I can think of, no.
Okay, nothing in the chat that I missed again? No?
I have one more thing, because you went into the question about the age of a child, up
Yes.
to what age, and the specific question that the previous employee had asked was, let's say they have a child that they have on their plan that turns 26 at the end of the year or in the middle of the month. So the answer to that question was they'll be covered for the rest of that month, and then they'll be dropped out of the medical insurance plan. But
Exactly.
for dental and vision, they're covered until the age of 30.
Yes, because
Okay,
United allows that, but Aetna does not.
okay. So just
Okay.
to be clear on that question, if anybody had any doubts on that.
By
They're
the way,
covered until they're 26, but until the end of that month, and then they'll be kicked off.
right? And just so you know, that's a qualifying event to be able to get either on the child's employer's plan or an individual plan on their own. Okay, because when you get a letter saying that you don't have insurance anymore as of February 28th, to use a date, then I can go to the exchange and buy something for March 1st. Okay, any other questions? All right, Greenlee's still on there if she doesn't have anything to add. Okay, You guys have a great weekend. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, George.
Anything that comes up, Sandra, I'll be available, as you know. You got my cell. Sorry, I missed your call earlier.
No
See you
worries.
soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.